10 seconds remaining.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to some more WePlay League Season 3 action. I'm Llama Down Under. I'm going to be joined by the Wonder Cow, and we're on to Team Archon versus Shazam.
Team Archon.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary. What's going on here, Llama? We're just starting into the draft and happy to be back after, what, a day and a half off?
Yeah, had some postponed games, ended up not getting to cast. Was this the moved game?
10 seconds remaining.
This was not. This is just Archon happens to be playing today, and I believe today is a doubleheader for Shazam as well, so we should have them versus Archon, and then to follow this game, we have them playing somebody else, maybe you know off the top of your head.
Yeah, they will be playing Leviathan, which I'm really excited to see, because I've seen that Leviathan's had some interesting stand-ins on their roster too. Of course, guys, in the usual fashion, it's before the roster locks, which are apparently going to last 6 months. I don't actually know. Have we heard official word on that beyond the players?
There's official word. I found it in the fine text well before they actually...
10 seconds remaining.
So it came out in the fine text of the last roster lock that this coming roster lock was going to last all the way until after the international, which is depending on how you measure that between 4 and 6 months.
And it's important, folks, because obviously for these teams, it's time to try different stand-ins to see what works for you, see if you want to even play with the same people, because you're not getting an invite to major qualifiers, including TI qualifiers, unless you have a stable roster, and you're going to have to play through that horrible 1,024 team best of one bracket. Yeah. By the way, it's not great. I'm really trying to sell it to you as awful, and I don't even need to. But we've got bans, and they're pretty standard for North America.
Yeah, the Batrider maybe is a little off key for the song that North America has normally been singing. We see a lot of Batrider recently, especially in WePlay, but normally he gets through the bans and actually gets picked up.
Yeah,
getting banned out.
He's also a little bit more popular in South America, I'd say. But obviously, if you know some of these players, it's a great hero for either the skilled offlaner like MSS is, or even if you end up in a weird mid matchup, sometimes the Batrider can be the advantage you need to just squash the mid.
Yeah, and also for Archon specifically, they do have a tendency to ban it out. At least recently, they have had a tendency to ban it out. I know their last 4 games minimally, they banned him out in the first phase, so they really just don't like dealing. Though, granted, all of those games were against Elite Wolves, as you mentioned. South American teams do tend to like that hero a bit more.
Oh. And we've got pretty standard stuff. I mean, Beast Monster comes out, followed by the Invoker. I wouldn't be surprised if Archon try to get themselves the Death Prophet. There's also still heroes. I don't often see Oracle as a first-round pick, but there's some other strong supports that they might be going for. Of course, the Venge ban out means that she won't be in the first 2, like we've been seeing. But
there's an Oracle coming out. Archon does have a tendency to like Tuskar as well in this first pick phase. If not, they very heavily rely on being able to grab it in that second pick. So I would not be at all surprised to see them go that route either.
Yeah, there's also a lot of, there's some great synergy there. A Beastmaster Tusk lane is one where if the Tusk roams in at the right time, he can certainly get a lot of work done. I'm also trying to remember if I've seen Archon. I know Shazam, I've seen them have Brax run the mid Beastmaster, but I don't know if I recall Archon doing so.
I have not seen that.
And this confirms, this confirms that it's OD mid. Really interesting to pick it so early.
They could ostensibly run the OD as a farming carry, but I've not seen that be successful this level. So I would hope that they're hedging away from that option. Beastmaster offlane makes the most sense, and it's what they typically do if they do bother to pick up. It's honestly not that often.
Yeah, and just to go over a couple things for the viewers, because I know you might be confused, Shazam is playing with 2 stand-ins. Stan King, you may remember he had a short stint on Root Gaming. I believe he's also played for Void Boys. He plays support, and CCNC, I want to say, is a carry player. If I'm thinking of the right person, he is, people joke and call him the nicest person in NA Dota, because he's a very skilled, he's one of those very young players who's very skilled, but he is very nice, which we'll probably see when we load into the game with the old chat messages. But,
you know, there's a worse reputation to have than you're just too damn nice.
I'm very happy that there's somebody who's got a reputation as, hey, they're exceedingly polite. But
yeah, there was a long time there was nobody with that reputation, right? So
Well, you know, sometimes the quiet ones, nobody knows how nice you are. Either way,
Team Archon's
Beck
turn
ban
to
out
ban.
makes sense against an Invoker because it's really easy. If you get a Sunstrike or you haunt into Sunstrike, just don't want to give her free gold. And Undying. Archon, yep. I've seen them run the Undying
Dire
before, so
team
makes
ban.
sense.
Getting rid of the Batrider, the Spectre, and the Nyx all kind of speak to me as Team Archon wanting to be able to get ganks and open up space. Don't really want to have to worry about the counter initiation potential. The Venge even as well with the swap. They
10
seem to want to be able to
remaining.
control this mid-game pacing, maybe go in and take some towers down. I wouldn't be
5
surprised to
seconds
see them
remaining.
grab something else that pushes pretty, maybe a Juggernaut carry, something like that.
Reserve time.
Yeah, so I think Jug's a strong pickup. They may even go for the Gyro. It's still pretty wide open. It's kind of funny. Even though Archon have given away a lot, you know that they have Beastmaster and OD. They could end up playing it kind of safe. They could end up running a Tiny even if they feel comfortable. Some teams will do that with just Beastmasters in a Beast. And also,
Team
I'm pretty
Archon's
sure Archon
turn
is
to
actually
pick.
pretty comfortable with the IO, so if that type of thing manages to get through, although now that Dox is up, you know
It's not often that they're given the opportunity to do so. IO very regularly banned at all stages of Pro Dota, right? But I don't necessarily see the Tiny fit in because OD needs to get off to a really strong start, and often what that will require is heavy rotations out of the safe lane. While Tiny is a
10
decent
seconds
safe
remaining.
laner, solo safe laner, with a couple rotations, especially up against a Darkseer with
5
that Ion
seconds
Shell against the
remaining.
melee range of the Tiny, he could get zoned
Yeah.
out very easily, and you might end up falling into the
Reserve
mid-game a
time.
bit torpid.
Yeah, it's something that it's just rough against the Dox here, and maybe even the Invoker, depending on what Invoker Brax decides to build. For Archon, though, they now get a chance to pick up some supports. I think Witch Doctor's popular this patch. I don't know if they'll try to run the Chen after the nerfs.
I think a Chen would be great here. I don't see them picking it up. I mean, obviously Fluff is a great Chen player, and they would be able to knock down towers very efficiently. But once again, that would require that Chen to rotate a lot more. Usually Chens rotate 1 or 2 big rotations, and for the OD, you may require a very stable rotation,
Dire
such as a
team
Mirana
pick.
might provide.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see how this is going to work out. Obviously, there is some changes to Mirana which make her much more able to get farm than she used to in the jungle, but it's completely skill shot based, right? If you don't land those early arrows, nothing's going to get done. And for Archon, obviously they've got a little bit of setup with the Astral Imprisonment. I have to assume that they've practiced that, but if they're only ganking mid,
10
I mean,
seconds
feeling
remaining.
like they need another support who brings a little bit of a stun so Mirana can hit more of these than just in mid.
5
Yeah,
seconds
well, also
remaining.
the Astral Imprisonment is much easier to work around since whenever they changed prison duration, it used to be
Reserve
1
time.
second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second. Now it's always 4 seconds. That makes it way easier to land your Mirana arrow out of that setup because no matter what stage of the game you're in, you always have to shoot it for the same timing.
Yeah. And
Actually, I'm surprised we haven't seen more of this combo, at least tried out, especially here at the WePlay where you're seeing quite a bit of experimentation from teams that are kind of in the middle ranks of North America. This will be very interesting.
I think part of it is that a lot of teams actually don't like picking up the OD early. I've spoken to some players about it, and they have mentioned that OD is strong right now, but
Team
generally, if
Archon's
you're
turn
given an
to
opportunity, if you pick it too early, people can counter it pretty easily with things like the Nyx, which ended up getting banned out. And so you just have to be careful with it. So
Yeah, and another great way to try and try to counter that OD is just getting a very high intelligence cast of heroes, and Darkseer, Oracle, Invoker all kind of fit that prescription, right? So while dealing with the OD,
10
he's going to
seconds
need to make sure
remaining.
he's getting even that much better farm so that his intelligence can be greater
5
than his
seconds
opponents at all
remaining.
time. Otherwise, Sanity's Eclipse is not quite as the dominating
Reserve
force that it
time.
was hoping to be.
yeah, it's rough as you say because
Dire team ban.
you always want to make sure you have a really big Sanity's Eclipse, but you can really there's so many heroes here. It's going to be interesting to see exactly whether it works out. And Juggernaut pick up another one where, depending
10
on how this
seconds
slot plays
remaining.
it or the Oracle, you might end up having a full
5
Omni Slash
seconds
expended on
remaining.
someone under false promise who would have died, and maybe the bounces would have occurred, but instead you just
Reserve
only pick
time.
up one.
Yeah, I think the Jug is a really good fit here, though, for the other reasons that he provides a lot of push. He's got very strong lane presence, even against Darkseer, because of Lane Fury survivability. He should be able to deal with his lane pretty effectively, which does allow for those rotations to make sure the OD gets off to just a right start. Obviously, I think that it's a pretty decent pick, since we were talking about what might fit here 3 picks ago, and I was like, yeah, the Juggernaut might fit here, and I certainly haven't changed my mind on that.
Yeah. So the Witch Doctor's going to get banned out. It's kind of interesting.
5 seconds remaining.
I wonder what Shazam's super worried about here, is I feel like...
I don't feel like the Witch Doctor would have been a particularly good pick, to be honest.
I don't, because I think Invoker has a lot of ways to stop it. Maybe... Yeah. Either
Invoker has ways to stop it. Darkseer does. Slark also does. Oracle can false promise through it, so you don't have to worry too much about it. I'm with you. It doesn't seem like it would have fit that well, but he is popular, and maybe they're about to pull out a very squishy, low armor hero. Their carry, like
10
a Luna.
seconds remaining.
I very much doubt that that's the case.
What? I think both sides have carries already.
Yeah, the Slark's probably going to take it. But you're not going to pick out a squishy, low armor off lane, right? So, or semi-support or whatever it is that they're going to land. So
yeah, I think
that was the only explanation I could think of.
I think it might have just been a comfort thing, where they know that Whitebeard and Fluff and stuff very comfortable in that hero, maybe wanting to avoid them getting something they're comfortable with over something that would be considered, quote, OP here. Gonna be the Night Stalker though. This is a support Night Stalker. Probably, I think it'll be Stand King on that. I think he plays the 4. I'm not quite sure how they'll do it with a stand-in. But now...
Yeah, that always makes it a little bit hazy. But presumably 4 spot, probably rotating a lot after the 4-minute mark. Lion coming out, I think that's a much better pick than the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, you still, of course, always have to be careful if the dog pact is going and you try to lock down the Slog, but you have so many more ways of dealing with him, and you should, if you have a good time, maybe you manage to get enough gold to get up that Aether Lens or Blink, depending on how this Lion decides to build, should be able to get a lot of pickoffs. Also
in combination with the OD, you can choose a hero and just make sure that he never has mana. Right, the Lion can drain the mana away, OD can take the intelligence, and in a fight, somebody's not going to be casting, and that could very well be an Invoker that suddenly can't contribute anything to a fight.
Yeah, and that would be really powerful. It also helps... Oh. Okay, I'm assuming they're going to swap based on who's picked up what.
Maybe?
We'll
5 seconds remaining.
Just running down all the time, as things normally go. Oh, and there we go. We got some.
And the obligatory North America starting the game pause.
I think all teams do it. I actually got to speak to Swindlemelons about this, and basically he was talking about how every team's gonna do it. You know, every team knows every other team is pausing for a little bit of extra strategic time. Sometimes it's like TeamSpeak isn't working. Sometimes it's, oh, we didn't actually have everybody in during the draft because people don't always have all of their team active while drafting. So.
Yeah, it definitely happens North America SEA more than it happens China, Europe, though. I don't know if you casted a lot of China, Europe. You get a lot of pausing, but it's usually like somebody is disconnected pause rather than, well, the game's starting, let's fill some time pause.
Yeah.
The nice thing about a pause like this is that both teams presumably are able to get the same amount of strategic value out of it, so it's not an unfair advantage. It's not like a quote-unquote puppy pause. Right, where it's in the middle of a fight and one team's getting a huge boost up because...
Yes, the infamous puppy pause. I think a lot of teams try to avoid those types of things just because, as you said, there's a lot of implication that goes with them, that maybe you didn't win your game because of it. And there we go. We're into it. So let's do some quick introductions on Archon. We're going to be rocking Moo on that Beastmaster. It's going to be Monkeys Forever on the OD. White is headed up on the Mirana. Jo will be playing on the Juggernaut. And finally, I've missed someone because I'm too busy giggling over the old chat. Fluff and Stuff will be playing that Lion.
All right, and here for Shazam, we've got Brax taking the Purple Crusader. That Darkseer MSS will be casting up a storm on the Invoker. Stan King is a stand-in on the Oracle. CC and C will be sliding around that Slark, and X, which is Savage, will be playing the Night Stalker.
Yeah, and I was confused, folks, because normally Brax plays their mid. I've seen them swap a few times, but last time we were watching Shazam, there obviously was Brax on their mid, but also Savage normally does
30
play the
seconds to
5,
battle.
I believe. So there's just some role switching going all over. A lot of these players have heaps of experience, so I'm sure it'll be no problem.
Yeah, and also when you have a stand-in, or especially two stand-ins who may not have played together very much, you may have played a lot with each individual stand-in, but their communication patterns together make a difference as well. You definitely want them to be as comfortable as they can be, and then kind of conform around them, because you can use your own communication patterns to kind of bridge the gap as a team.
The battle begins.
So we'll be seeing whether anything is gonna come to fruition. Each side getting a rune. Gonna be nice old boring stuff. For actual teamfight lineups, Shazam, they have a lot of work that they can potentially get done during that first night. I think that here's like the Lion getting caught out, or even the Beastmaster in that top lane, could set them up quite nicely.
I think the Beastmaster top lane, as you mentioned, may be the most important gank potential on the squad. He doesn't have a traditional escape. He does have a bit of vision to help him out, but can be very vulnerable, especially with the reduced vision of.
Short-sighted of you.
So instead, we'll see in mid how this ends up panning out. It's gonna be a bit of astral imprisonment action.
Oh!
And what?
Mid lane, we've
Oh,
got
okay. That was the arrow. Yep, I was looking at the spin action on bottom, but MSS eats his fairy fire. He's turning around, throws out the cold snap, gonna stop the pursuit, and both Whitebeard and Monkeys take a bit of damage there. But as you said, that was a long arrow.
Yeah, well, it was with the astral imprisonment setup as well, so they practice it. It seems they're ready to execute this strategy. No more hedging around the sides of I wonder if this will work. And MSS just learned a very hard lesson about being careful. Mirana's actually coming around for another pass, too.
The funny part is they actually had a ward up here, but I believe she did it on the other side. He should know about this one, but this is, oh, he's going to be able to get it. MSS, will this be our first blood? It's looking an awful lot like it. Even eating the fairy fire. Monkeys Forever will go down, though. I'm not sure if...
It's definitely worth it, but it's definitely not as worth it, right?
I guess I was going to say, it's obviously worth it. You always want to get the first blood. You get a big experience boost, but there may have been a way to avoid casualties. Yeah. Of course, the Mirana had to come around, just had to walk over.
I think it was more they wanted to get that out of the way as quickly as possible so that the Mirana can now rotate to other lanes. They absolutely wanted to make sure that OD got the first blood lane, get that slight advantage. He already, based on the previous games, OD versus Invoker in Professional Dota, should have an advantage through the phase. In fact, by 8 minutes on average, he should have almost twice as many last hits. Granted, that's a very small sample size, but OD does very well in this lane.
Up on top, Moo is going to get caught out. There's also a Pounce and a Dog Pack. He's taking a lot of damage, and with the Essence Shift, going to be Stan King, actually, who finishes it off with the Purifying Flames, but Shazam return. Get themselves on the board.
Exactly what we were just talking about. He's very vulnerable as an offlaner, and can't really afford to be out that far, to be honest. Now down bottom.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of, I don't know how much you've gotten to watch on the bottom, but
Not
it
at
is,
all.
Yeah, it has been a field day for Brax. Obviously, it is the Night Stalker, Darkseer lane. You get a lot out of that against melee, and Fluff and Stuff gonna be slow to eat his Fairy Fires. Nobody is gonna keep keeping their Fairy Fires for long in this game. Oh, but Whitebeard is right there. This is a hero stat. Okay, as I was saying, the Night Stalker has a lot of armor. Will it matter? The arrow is coming. He manages to dodge it. And he is going to get out with the surge from Brax. I guess it does help to be a tanky individual, we'll say.
The hair on his chinny chin saved him there. He was barely able to eke away. And honestly, he probably could have or should have died there. There's no reason for him to go try to contest that camp, knowing that he would be surrounded. This lane has been going pretty well for them, and I think maybe he got overzealous based on that success.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see exactly how this pans out, because we've already got a lot of action, and a lot of these heroes in this game are adept at TPing in and either getting a return kill or probably not good at stopping the gank, but definitely getting a return kill. I mean, you look at an Oracle
on OD mid with the stun on MSS. This should be an easy kill.
Yeah, he gets it again. He'd had the DD. This time Monkeys doesn't end up going down, but Whitebeard, he is being so sneaky around these wards. He's thrown one from here, one from here, one from here. Ugh.
Yeah, he's doing an absolutely phenomenal job making sure that he's getting in for that. And now he's going to get a quick little heal from Oracle.
Yeah, Fortune's End pops into him, but the Night Stalker can't get close enough. Poke away at him some more.
Oh, so Archon are executing this to get into the mid game pretty effectively. I think that they wanted him to get off to a good start. He has top last hits and almost top denies. He's gotten 2 kills now as well. He's the hero that you really want to rely on through that mid game in order to apply pressure, open up space, make it difficult to move around. After this first night, if Shazam have not managed to grab themselves a couple of kills from the Night Stalker rotation, I'm thinking Archon are sitting pretty and probably going to be feeling relatively comfortable.
It's rough though. We're going to see Invoker does have the Forge Spirit up. They kind of have to wait for that to expire before they can do more Mirana shenanigans, because he could reposition it, but Monkey's Forever just killed it off. Stalker is behind, but doesn't look like he thinks there's anything he can do.
He's only level 3, right?
I mean,
this offlane did pretty well for them. He is a support, right? And
yeah. Oh, speaking of being just a support, Oracle doing it again, helping to get the kill on top. Even with the clap, isn't enough to bother the Slock.
I would really expect the nighttime kills to be coming from the involvement of the Night Stalker, but this Oracle's just been doing exactly what he's baiting the Beastmaster forward a bit, trying to get him to over-engage, and the Slark comes in with Pounce, and there's that kill.
Doesn't Slock have like a little extra nighttime vision? Oh, Fluff and Stuff, he's gonna use the Hex up. Can MSS get in range of the Tornado? It's just long enough to catch Fluff and Stuff, and they get themselves a kill. Finally, something for Night Stalker in this first night.
That's, once again, they need to get a couple kills, right? So,
yeah.
This is them on the right path. They're still letting the OD free farm, which is not a recipe for success, but if they manage to keep everybody else relatively down, then the OD is not going to be able to 1-on-5, right? That's really seems to be the strategy, is apply too much pressure on the other lane so that even though the OD's ready to fight in the mid game, the rest of Archon are not.
And it's very true. If the Beastmaster can't get some semblance of levels, he's probably going to want a Necronomicon eventually. Sure, he can do quite a bit with the Primal Roar, but it's really rough against a Slog who might just dog pact it off if you're not careful.
Yeah, and to answer your question from a little, yeah, Slark does have full vision.
Yeah,
that's
so
full 1800.
Just saying, slight advantages. That isn't why the Beastmaster is going down though. It's not related. I was just joking around.
It doesn't hurt though.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Denied.
And that does speak a bit to the synergy as well alongside the Night Stalker. Until that Night Stalker gets Ags, the reduced vision of the nighttime can be kind of a bummer for his team, but...
Oh, they're going in on Brax again. Mirana, she's having trouble lining it up because of the catapult and actually ends up missing. Brax, will he be able to walk away though? He has no mana. The auto attacks have it. They're TPing somebody in, but they have to be careful. It's going to be Stan King. And that's part of the problem until you have the Borrowed, the False Promise. Oh, there's going to be an Omni Slash on bottom followed by a spin. Savage gonna run the other way. MSS, oh goodness, they're managing to get the full length stun on from the Lion, but doesn't matter. Jo taking a lot of damage, losing all his mana, and MSS now actually in a bit of trouble. A big tornado gets the Mirana. Are they gonna turn? No, not looking like it. That was surprisingly good for Archon.
Yeah. You mean for Shazam? Yeah?
Yes, sorry, for Shazam. Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be surprisingly good for Archon, but then a miscommunication, and Fluff and Stuff went after a different opponent than the rest of his team. I'm not sure which of them was right. I guess Fluff is the captain. As far as I'm aware, he does still make game calls, so be a bit of mutiny on the side of Archon, leading to some confabulation.
Also just really unlucky. When you try to Omni Slash level 1 on a Night Stalker, you're thinking, hey, he's level 4, it's gonna be fine. Yeah. It's a Night Stalker. Ridiculous armor, that Omni Slash is physical. He's got a lot of health. He's got all good stuff.
Yeah, 7 armor is nothing to shake a stick at this stage in the game. I mean, the Slark, with a full 4-man shield, Ring of Aquila, and Power Treads, is still only sitting on 9. That gives you a general idea of how much that is.
Speaking of Slark, he just goes in. He's gonna get stunned up here, though. Tornado too short because of Invoker's leveling. CCMC needs to get on. He actually uses the dog pack, which means the tower last hit gets the kill, and EMP not enough to save him. Moo now gonna turn around with the Primal Roar onto MSS. They use the Moonlit Shadows, not 100% sure if they need it. They just want to make sure Moo gets out. And now Stan King taking quite a bit of damage from Fluff and Stuff. The Q from the Mirana coming down. Starstorm doing good work there, and fantastic turnaround from Archon.
What a great use of Moonlight Shadow to just literally waltz in 3-4 times and just double kill those guys. That's a 1,400 gold gain and a 600 gold loss, including gold loss on the carry and the mid laner. You could not ask for a better turn of events considering your farming mid still hasn't gotten involved.
Yeah, I think it's, as you said, it's really nice because they're getting kills everywhere, and that was a really big pick on the Slork. He's someone that traditionally Beastmaster has a lot of trouble with.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially considering the Beastmaster was solo. We had surmised perhaps he would have a Tusk laning meter or something in the draft, and part of the reason that was in our discussion is because Beastmaster, once again, he's just not a particularly survivable hero in that offlane.
Whitebeard is being sneaky again. Gonna see whether she can get anything done on that Mirana. Okay, they're just gonna stand next to each other. It's fine. It's fine, they're saying. We're here.
Buddy
For each
system.
other.
It's the buddy system.
Yeah, all of these players actually know each other ridiculously well, right? Because of stuff like FPL. And we have Savage. Having to be careful there. Oh, the arrow is gonna completely whip on Stan King. Can they find anything else, though? Doesn't look like it.
Game has almost degenerated into like a 10v10 style metagame. Whitebeard is just roaming around the jungle, wantonly throwing out sacred arrows, trying to grab kills. That there's been very little focus on laning coming out of Archon.
Oh,
he
hit it! He hit that arrow blind onto Savage and the Night Stalker, showing how tanky he is, but it might not be enough against an OD and the Starstorm. Whitebeard on a support Mirana is doing so much work.
You can have all the armor you want going up against that pure damage. It will not make a lick of difference.
It is really awesome to see this. I really enjoy Mirana. Obviously, she got some buffs a couple patches back, but wasn't receiving maybe as much love as we were hoping for. Will this arrow hit? It's off the mark. Brax sees it coming. And they might just go back to poking at mid tower.
Oh, bottom. Oh, Brax. Just barely.
Was there an Omni Slash committed? Yes.
Omni Slash and the spin, and he fell maybe 10 damage short. But the surge, it was just too much for obviously to back up.
Now,
Mid tower should be the prize though.
And it's really helpful. It allows them to gank. What is Whitebeard doing?
Dire's bottom tower is under
Just setting
attack.
up arrows, guys.
Dire's middle
Whitebeard.
tower
Oh, okay, there it is. He's gonna go for it. Will this be intercepted by Savage? Hasn't actually thrown the arrow yet. There goes the arrow. It's gonna hit onto Savage. And now this means that MSS in the Primal Roll, they have nothing to save him. He goes down. Stallstorm helping out. A few more auto attacks actually would get them Savage. Instead, it's gonna be Moo most likely who pays the price. Monkey's Forever thinking about coming in. Force stops him to safety. Can CCNC find anything here? He does not have the ult though. They do get the Beastmaster and he does disjoint that auto. Arrow's gonna miss onto Brax. And with that, it should be the end of the fight.
Fate's Edict cast on the Invoker there. Unfortunately, once again, just like the armor, getting that magic resistance isn't going to make a lick of difference against the pure damage coming out of the Arcane.
Yeah, and this is, as you said, this is the problem with OD, right? You get off to a good start, you start snowballing. You're like a Templar Assassin in that respect, and kind of more scary because, as you said, it's pure damage. What do you do against that? You have to tank up, and that's about it.
Yeah, and a lot of these heroes just can't do that. You know, well, I guess maybe not necessarily for Shazam, but generally you would play an OD against heroes that can't.
Oh, we have the first finger of the game coming out onto Brax, and now MSS, he's stuck in that Astral Imprisonment. They do not have an arrow for it, but I think there are more than enough of them around. And Stan King, he's still only level 5, so there's no false promise. He dodges the arrow, but Monkey's Forever doesn't care. He's going to just throw out nothing. Doesn't even matter what he throws out. It's not enough. Monkey's Forever is dominating this game.
Now here's the perfect part of this strategy, right? It seems a little convolute to begin with. Actually, we're going to see a bit of engagement here again, maybe. The Slark thinking about it, but he's been seen. He's going to get away. Right, back to my point, right? The Juggernaut did not get off to a very good start relative to his opponent. The Slark had many more last hits than him throughout the laning phase, but the OD got off to such a good start that it now allows the OD to open up the entire map of space, and Jug has been just free farming for about 2 or 3 minutes now. This is the strategy working exactly as intended.
Theo is starting to catch up, as you mentioned, and he was down low there on the net worth chart. The Beastmaster was as well, maybe not having the easiest of times, although getting quite a bit of experience. And it doesn't matter, he can get a few kill involvements with the OD's help and feel a lot better.
Moo has honestly not contributed a ton of games so far, but this is not necessarily the stage of the game where they want him to. Once they start
Dire's
really
top
thinking
tower
about
is under
pushing hard,
attack.
to get maybe 4 or 5 more kills, that's when Moo is really going to step up his game.
And they finally managed to de-ward some a ward that was giving them so much vision for these arrows. Savage is gonna see what he can do, but instead the Moonlit Shadows comes out. And are they gonna turn this around into a gank on bottom Brax? He doesn't look like he can get away. He pops the mech. There are still some autos. Is he just gonna run it off? Where is the stuns? There's one in 4 seconds and he's just walking it off. This is what, the third or fourth time? Oh, they get the stun. One more auto attack. They need 2 because of the mech. He has so much auto. He uses the vacuum to disjoint the stun. Pull the auto coming out, and now we're gonna be seeing Jo. He should be fine. He has the spin TP away, but will they finally get the bounty on Whitebeard's head? A tornado comes out and she goes down. So a really nice turnaround finally from Shazam.
The avarice from Archon really showing itself there. They thought they were very far ahead and that their support Lion could dive a tower and that they would get away with it. There's no way they should have felt comfortable without the OD specifically. Meanwhile, farming out his opponent's jungle because hey, why not?
Yeah, I think unfortunately just underestimating the power of the mech armor for the dogs here. But even with those type of stumbles, they're over 5k net worth ahead, 2,000 experience. They're having a good time.
And Moo might be subject. No, they're just gonna turn it in.
Oh no, they dropped the wall, but it's not enough. OD is here. Goodbye to your it. Goodbye to your lives. Brax gonna try to walk it off. Suddenly has no mana. Monkeys Forever also has a haste, so your surge doesn't matter. Drops the sanity eclipse for 1. That's super rude. Let's be honest. That's rude.
there's no dealing with that. To be honest, the haste rune was fortuitous, obviously. He had bottled in the last 2 minutes, so even with the surge, just no way to get away.
And that's the finished Atos on Monkeys. He's gonna hit harder. He's gonna be more of a pain in the Sanity's Eclipse. It looks like Stan King, they pop the Nighttime in hopes of getting him away. Are they gonna turn it around? Savage might have DD. OD is coming down from the north though. They're going in on Fluff and stuff. CCNC is here as well on the Sloth. They're gonna get one. They'll catch out Whitebeard. And now they just have to get away from Monkeys actually popping that Shadow Darts to make sure he doesn't get hit. Really well played.
Has arrived and everybody scatters like cockroaches from the light.
Yeah, you just get out when the raid boss is here. You do not bother. So, that will be OD finishing his Atos, as we said. Necro's level 3 on the Beastmaster as well. Considering his rough start, I mean, Jo doesn't even have the Battle Fury, but we got Necro level 3 on Beastmaster.
I'm really surprised at the lack of items coming out on the cores in this, with the exception of Monkeys Forever, while the whole mechanism up on Brax. I guess he's a core in the offlane, but you would expect Invoker to have something by now, and he's still working through his second Oblivion staff, right? Slark did manage to grab a Shadow Blade, but it was pretty late, and he hasn't utilized it. So
yeah, Invoker really wasn't able to get the start he wanted, I think, and he had a ridiculously rough lane.
Yes.
I don't think any of us can blame MSS. Archon just played it ridiculously well.
Yeah, and I think Shazam needed to focus more heavily on rotating into that mid lane to lighten the load for that Invoker.
Yeah. There was certainly some overextensions that I think could have been punished either way. Really nice play coming out of Whitebeard and out of the OD. Will this arrow hit? Just off the mark. There will be an EMP. Burns down a lot of what Moo has, but they still have the autos. Jo taking some damage, but will probably pop that healing ward. Right back up. That is the second to last out of tower. There's just the one in mid. And, I mean, yeah, they're pinging it. You Roche, you get that Aegis up, you push, you end the game.
Yeah, and this is, once again, it's a strategy working exactly as intended. They have had a couple of weird overextensions, but for the most part, they have been exactly where they needed to be when they needed to be there. And Roshan is just another extension of that.
Now, there is some saving grace for Shazam. I think with the Invoker, the way he's building, and of course always with the Darkseer, they've got some good high ground potential. It does look like Darkseer is going to try to finish up a Blink first as well. But we'll see how this Roshan fight goes. The Aegis is already down. They see Mirana. Oh, they're throwing the tornado. It only hits on one. The Primal Roll comes out onto MSS and now Swap. He's in the mix. Will he be able to kill Moo? No, he finally sees him, but they drop the Astral Imprisonment. A vacuum back, but it doesn't matter. Odie's illusion isn't the problem. And CCNC, he gets fingers. He does manage to get out of there. Right now, it's a Slark for a Lion, and that looks like it's going to be... Oh, Slot gets the Lion, and it looks like that'll be it. Is that... Yeah.
Not the best engagement for Shazam, but considering they showed up after the deed was done, didn't exactly hurt him.
Yeah, I think, as you said, considering how far behind they are in this match, almost 7.5k 7.5k gold and 2,000 experience. If they can catch out JO, this would be pretty big. The TP rotations are coming in on the Lion. The Tornado has it, and Lion cancels the TP, but they're maybe gonna walk into OD. Careful about this retreat.
They're trying to grab this tower as well. They should be careful regarding this.
Oh gosh, Monkeys has an invis. He's just gonna go on the Invoker, and there's an arrow again. MSS gonna get hit. Not a good Christmas. Oh, it does manage to mean that Savage gets out, but even with the Sandy's Eclipse drop, that's actually buys them a bit of time.
Yeah, a little bit of time is not more of a consolation prize than anything, but time helps, right? It heals all wounds if they won't get them towers, which is what they really need right now, if they can't get kills, right?
I think it's something to be said for every moment you let the Slot continue on longer in this game. Slot is, you know, a seriously hard carry, has that essence shift. He's up against a Jug who you could argue can 1v1 him, but if you get off maybe a big vacuum and Invoker's doing some lockdown, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect this Slot to eventually come in and save the day.
He is going to go into, looks like a Sanj next, right? So
yeah, Sanj and Yasha.
Yeah. He'll have a bit more survivability. I think he is going into Sanj and Yasha and not into the Reg.
Yeah, I don't see too many great things. I mean, oh, let's stop the crit on the Jug. Not so great.
Right. You could maybe argue Essence Aura, but not if you're going to get it at 30 minutes, which is what it looks like, right? By that stage in the game.
Yeah, oh, and speaking of doesn't matter about the Essence Aura, MSS goes down again. Looks like he got Astral imprisoned into an arrow, and they have another one trapped up here, trying to use this as an opportunity to surge him away. Sand King is out. A good escape at least on one. Slot gets the bottom tower, but I think that they forfeited their tier 2 in mid.
Yeah, I don't really know how Shazam come back from this. They don't have a lot of wave clear. They have a very gank-oriented lineup, and they did not those ganks early enough in the game, really is what it comes down to. A good vacuum wall might get them to where they need to be for one of these fights, but as long as OD is standing and is not silenced, I don't think there's anything they can do. And he does have a Black King bar with a full 10-second duration as well, so how do they even kill him?
They're going in, they managed to get a vacuum on 2, but no wall is dropped. This means that ages till the next vacuum is up, and TCNC has to pounce away. It actually gets Astral imprisoned there. On the backlines, Invoker's trying to do something, anything. The Omni Slash going to be tanked by Savage. Looks like that's it for the beginning of the engagement. Nightstalker does immediately buy back. This is going to put him really far behind on the Aghanims he's been working on. But if they can save the racks, it should all be worth it. But now they have no false promise coming out from Sand King. He can buy back here, actually. CCNC going in on Monkeys forever. He needs to use that ult. It's already been used, though. And now the Primal Roar on MSS. Can this Invoker do anything? It looks like he's in a lot of trouble. Sand King getting 3 shot down. Yeah, they've gotten 1, but they need to kill off Monkeys. And this will just be his first life. They burnt the Aegis. They need to get more. MSS trying to run away, but the Starfall gonna hit him twice, and now it is CCNC and Nightstalker against the world, and I don't think they can do it. We'll see. They pop that glyph. MSS immediately uses the buyback. He's got some spells he can blow. They're probably off of cooldown. They're going on Whitebeard in the backlines. The Cold Snap comes out on Monkeys forever. A Tornado gonna knock the Lion up into the air. The wall is finally dropped. Fluff and Stuff, though, not taking nearly enough damage. He does end up going down, although CCNC gets down to about quarter of his health. If they catch Monkeys, this would be huge. Not worth maybe the buybacks, but he's exactly what they need here, and they're stalking. He does have a forced off. Oh.
They actually screwed that up a little bit. They could have gotten him there, but they guessed wrong. He also did have the Blacking bar coming off, so if they did vacuum him out of that or something, could have put up a hell of a fight on his own, to be honest.
And the fact that these heroes right now, you know, OD's illusion isn't what's scary. It's OD with the Arcane Orb. It's the fact that Juggy's actually not super formed, so getting an illusion of him as well doesn't really have as much impact as you would like at this stage in the game. I agree with you. I'm not sure what Shazam does, especially now that they're down to racks.
They hope for mistakes, right? They prey on the mistakes of your opponents. Really unfortunate, it's also daytime, so you add that onto the fire. They could engage with the darkness, but I assume that they would want to save that for trying to get a good initiation when they're defending high ground. So for the next 4 minutes, there's probably not a lot that they can do.
And Archon have extended their lead over the 10k gold mark. A lot of that is the forced buybacks from almost every member of Shazam. The experience actually isn't too far away, but when 3 of your 5 members had to use their buybacks, your item progression is super stunted. This is going to be a 30-minute orchid at this rate. Although maybe it's flying out to him right now. Please say yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay, 25-minute orchid, but he lost that when he had to be forced to save for buyback.
Yeah, and at this stage, you can't Orchid the OD to stop him from wrecking your team because he has a Black King bar now. So the fact that the OD had 3 items before the Invoker had 1 is very telling.
Marana's gonna try to get some work done with the DD. She's got some backup in JO. JO's just gonna spin on out. That'll be the end of that.
Once again, what do? They don't have anything to handle that. There's too much magic immunity now. They don't even have vision map. I'm gonna try to grab a kill here with the Slark. It will do so.
They'll get the Lion. It's something at this point in the game, right? And if they can find anything else, it would be great. There is the silence, but the Omni Slash, MSS, he can't get into the Ghost Walk in time. And now CCNC trying to do something off to Whitebeard, but he is Astral imprisoned. And this may be about to get painful. He instead just pops that ult. On the backlines, we do see Night Stalker go down as well. And while CCNC is out, it was at a huge cost to the rest of his team.
Yeah, they lost more than they gained from picking the Lion, even, right? That's, once again, it's bad signs. Doomsday's a coming for Shazam. So, good high ground defense seems to be the only hope they have. And maybe doing a trick high ground defense where you start to defend high ground and then come around behind or something like that, just to try and get any sort of advantage that they can with the element of surprise. But they've gone out, tried to get these ganks. It is kind of how their lineup is designed to go get those picks, but it puts them in very precarious position when they do it.
He does have the Blink Dagger up. They're going to lose, it looks like, 2 racks for free here. I think they're really waiting for the one big team fight if they can make it happen when Night Stalker's back. And we'll see if Archon goes for the final racks. That's, I imagine, where Shazam's going to make their stand.
Yeah, they haven't called GG yet, which is, I mean, you gotta admire their assistance, right? But they completely gave up a set of racks there without trying to defend at all. I'm not sure what would make the last racks.
Oh, they didn't have everybody alive, I think, is the issue.
I very much doubt they'll have everybody alive for the next time around either, though, is the problem.
I see. You just gotta hope, as you said. It's no longer in their control. It's up to Archon, who wins this game. So
if they drop the ball, this could be the last fight of the game coming up, or the first fight of a comeback. Llama be the first fight of a comeback.
Oh, Moo's gonna end up walking right into them. He has a lot of support nearby. It looks like they'll kill him off. The arrow is coming. It manages to miss, but on the same time, on the back lines, CCNC is hanging out there. I think he just told the team they were all there, and they actually threw out the dust and the finger, saved with the false promise. But what is Night Stalker gonna do? Said he's gonna eventually blow up most likely when this is all over. He's somehow still alive. Will they find anything? CCNC using that BKB. He's trying to auto attack people, but he can't even fight JO, and he needs to get on out. But they've seen it all. He is pouncing away. On the other side, we are gonna be seeing MSS chilling from behind. Maybe he can just throw out a tornado to slow this down.
He's trying.
Oh
and
no.
The line blink.
Savage is going to go down there. We're going to be seeing maybe Whitebeard will run into someone. Looking like CCNC is ready to come back in. Marana will be taking a tumble here. The tornado's going to help finish her off, but it's Ted with the vacuum. It's actually just shy of the right amount of damage, and now Jo running around. He is disarmed, but it's going to be Invoker going down. CCNC is trying to find something while Brax gets away, but he needs some sort of support, and he is not getting it. While on the sidelines, it's looking like CCNC needs to escape. He wanted the kill on Whitebeard, but there is no kill to be had. Hit by an arrow, taking them autos. He is going to burn down, and I imagine, as you said, that's the GG call.
You know, they wanted to wait till the absolute last minute where they knew there was no coming back, but even during that fight, their base was being burned down pretty effectively.
Victory.
Yeah.
CC with have a great day and God bless you. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I think it was a nice attempt by Shazam. As we mentioned, the Mirana just did too much work early on. I really credit a lot of this to the OD and Mirana.
Yeah, it was really well executed all the way around. I think to make sure that OD had the right amount of space through the laning phase, but obviously Whitebeard on the Mirana was the biggest part of that.